Hello, and the biggest of welcomes to This Woman's Work, a space where you can hear and read about some amazing women, the fantastic jobs they do, and the paths that have led them to where they are today. I'm here today with Ali. Hi, Ali.
Hi.
And we're in the most amazing studio, which I will do a video of so people can see it. And on that note, can you tell the lovely listener what it is you do for a living?
So I'm Ali and I'm the owner of the Pole Room in Peterborough.
Which is?
So it is a pole and aerial studio located in Orton Southgate in Peterborough, and we teach a range of aerial arts, so circus things, pole, hoop, silks, aerial chains, everything.
It's just amazing, and obviously there's going to be a ton of people checking out your Instagram after this. So, right, so loads to go into there. But before we do, we're going to track back and talk about little Ali and what you were like, what were you into?
So surprisingly, I was actually really quiet. I'm actually very introverted, as much as I love to see everyone at the studio. So yeah, super big introvert, so very quiet, was just really shy at school, just cracked on with my work, but I always loved to be outdoors,
And
horses,
moving, I'm guessing.
dogs, moving, sports,
Yeah.
dance was a big thing for
Yes,
me.
yeah, I was going to ask, yeah.
Yeah.
Even from a young age?
Even from a young age.
Wow.
So particularly like ballet, contemporary, and then cheerleading was my obsession for over a decade.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gosh, and what, competitive cheerleading?
Yes, yeah. So for Posh All Stars, which is no longer going anymore, we used to compete around the UK.
Wow, gosh, okay. So just going through school, very kind of like good, bit of a good girl, shy girl, but equally you're doing all this amazing stuff kind of, I guess that's out of school really, isn't it?
Yeah. So it was in school and out. So I was that person who would kind of skip the socials at lunch to go into the dance studio and choreo some bits.
Amazing.
You know,
And did you dance competitively as well then?
a little bit were mostly cheerleading,
Yeah.
and the rest was sort of like clubs in school and outside of school. So.
Oh my gosh, wow.
Yeah.
And what about other than, so obviously you clearly loved dance, were you drama-y? Were you quite thespian at school?
So I did drama because I wanted to go to like uni and do dance and sports and stuff. I actually wanted to be a physiotherapist at the time. So I was really into anatomy as well, anatomy, physiology. So I liked my sciences, studied drama, even as an introvert, so it was very hard, but it came along with, you know, dance and sport and stuff. So.
God, and how young were you? Because I'll be honest, in this podcast, most of the women I chat to literally are just muddling through school without any view of what they wanted to do. So I'm guessing we're talking secondary school here. You kind of had a view of what you wanted to do.
Yeah, so secondary school was definitely where I was really like finding my interests and going with that. And then I think primary school and younger, I was sort of just doing, you know, the classic like ballet from the minimum age and, you know, that kind of thing.
Did you do gymnastics as well?
I didn't, but cheerleading does cover quite a lot of gymnastics. So I did have that side of the sport too. And, you know, it was a good, like, I think it was maybe 3-4 hours on a Sunday training.
It is hardcore, isn't it? Anything like that is hardcore.
Yeah.
Wow, okay, so finish at secondary school. Did you go on to college?
So I actually, towards the end of secondary school, so towards the end of year 11, I was actually diagnosed with a labral tear in my hip.
Oh, wow.
So I couldn't dance anymore. I couldn't really do exercise at the time. So I just had to sort of get through my exams. So I actually ended up missing my GCSE for dance. Predicted an A. Because it was A, B, C before in the old days.
So go on your assessments prior to that.
Yeah, so I ended up being unable to take the full thing. I could do like the theory and stuff. So managed to finish all my other GCSEs without the dance, and then had to have surgery. So Yeah.
And that's not, I'm guessing, a tiny surgery.
It was huge,
Yeah.
and it was not what I expected. And, you know, at quite a young age to be having surgery, it was very, very difficult. It really, I was not prepared. So yeah, and I was out for quite a while, longer than expected. The surgery didn't go fully to plan, so it was supposed to be keyhole, but it was a fairly new surgery at the time.
Right.
So I have quite a big scar and a big like dent in my hip now as well.
Okay, so then what did you, once you'd recovered from your surgery, what came next?
So I actually fell into pharmacy.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, so I started in pharmacy. So my mum's a pharmacist, so
okay.
I kind of, when I was younger, I would sort of sit and like read after school and things. So yeah, I fell into pharmacy.
But equally, if you're really into your sciences, that does fit.
Yeah, I actually really enjoy the knowledge side and the mechanics and stuff of, you know, like the mechanism of the medications and things like that, and the anatomy of it. So I am still registered in pharmacy, I just don't practice. But I was managing pharmacies for a big company by the age of 20.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Gosh, that's quite big.
Yeah. So
But
so I
what
did
were you?
that.
I guess sort of sport and I'd say PE wise there, but that's a really random thing to say. Did you kind of get back up? How did you, I guess, recover? Because obviously, if you're doing pharmacy, surely you're still trying to do some sport or something out of away from that.
So I was trying to go back to the gym, but I found it really difficult. I was still in a lot of pain. I couldn't go back to dance either. I'd lost a lot of range in the hip, and even standing for long periods of time was difficult.
Gosh.
So from that, I actually was like, what can I do? And I thought, pole, upper body. I won't need to use too much, like lower body, hips. Everyone always talks about pole being just upper body strength and dance and fitness, and so that's how I fell into pole.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But just social, as in just recreationally, though, you just went to...
So just once a week, I was just
going to a
pole
class
and just learning, and then I just got addicted. And it's not upper body, it's full body, but I actually really rehabbed my hip. So I started to like get stronger, started to get more range of movement, started to recover better.
Okay, so you're doing it recreationally and you're loving it.
Yeah.
How did that then change?
So I was going to some pole classes in a gym with a really lovely lady called Debbie, and she unfortunately got poorly and she just couldn't take it on anymore, and she asked me to cover her a few times.
Wow. So you're obviously really good by this point then.
I don't know if I was really good. I feel
stop it. You were
times
really
have changed.
good.
Like, yeah, what used to be advanced is definitely not anymore. And as an industry,
because it's just going, because it's so. I mean, it's blown up, isn't it?
It really has, yeah. So I covered her for some classes, and then she kind of said, I'm not coming back. Do you want to take over? You can have like the poles. You can, have the mats, whatever you need. So I did for a little bit. And then the gym wanted a lot of rent, and I could not handle it at the time.
Yeah.
So then
you were still working at this point?
I was still working full-time managing pharmacy.
Bloody hell.
And then I just started training at the gym.
Yeah.
So my friends and I would just go and take a pole, like carry it across the car park, across the road, up the stairs of a gym, go and set up this pole, train for 4 hours, and, take it back down and go.
Oh my gosh.
So we did that for a while, and then I started teaching a little bit, just here and there, and I just really wanted somewhere where I could train properly, like big ceilings, spin pole, static pole, the lot, have space to compete and everything else. So my dad kind of put it into my head, like, why don't you just set up your own studio? So sort of ran the numbers. I was a little hesitant, and he kind of pushed me to do it and was like, I've signed you a lease on somewhere, so off you
how
go.
lovely.
Yeah.
So kind of, this is going to sound pun-like now, but so here you had a really good cheerleader then?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
So how long have you been here for then?
So we've been here for 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so we opened in December 2019.
Oh my God, bless your heart. Well, let's have that chat then. So you're opening with all the optimism in the world.
Yeah.
And then 2 months later, 3 months later.
COVID.
Honestly, it keeps coming up in all of my pods.
Yeah.
Were you just like, what the...
Yeah.
And had you left your, so you'd left your job?
So I was still working full time.
Oh, okay. Well, at least that's that then.
So I opened the studio and I was still managing pharmacies regionally. So here, there, everywhere. Some like in Nottingham, some in Mansfield. Managing pharmacies.
Even during COVID as well.
During COVID.
God, I don't even want to know. That's a whole feels like a podcast in itself.
Yeah, I also bought my house and renovated that in the November 2019.
Oh, wow.
Opened the business December.
You packed it in then, yeah.
Really went for it. And then COVID shut us down. So luckily, we got like a lot of support from the government in terms of rent being covered.
Yeah.
So I am thankful for that.
Yeah.
And luckily I was able to, pay my mortgage and my bills through my full-time job.
Oh my God, how lucky that you hadn't quit at this point though.
Yeah.
I guess it was just early enough days that you weren't quite sure of numbers and stuff, were you?
Exactly.
And what the books would look like.
Yeah, still building it up. So in a way it was good timing. Yeah. So,
okay. So when were you allowed to do classes again then?
So it was really difficult for gyms.
Yes.
We had a little bit more give because we have apparatus. So usually we would have 2 people per pole.
Yeah.
But for COVID we had 1 person per pole.
Yeah, and they're really well spaced out anyway, aren't they?
Thank you. Yeah, they are. Yeah. So it was a smaller at the time. We did have 6 poles. We've now got 9.
Yeah.
So we were having to cut classes in half. So in terms of finance aspect, it was a little bit harder. I was working double hours, for the same kind of income.
Yeah.
And at that point, we had to pay for the rent
on your own
from that.
Yeah.
So no more government help.
Yeah.
So it was challenging, and we had to wear masks even though it was exercise. So
stop it! Did you?
Yeah. So I'm like spotting students and wearing a mask all the time.
Oh my God, you see, that makes me panic a bit about like things, like exercising, things like that, because you can't breathe, can you?
Yeah, and you're upside down as well.
Oh my gosh.
Spinning around, yeah.
But people did come though.
Yeah, so we picked up numbers really quite quickly. And I actually quit my job fully in 2022, I think.
Yeah.
So,
and did you go part-time before then, or?
Yes, so I dropped down to 4 days a week, so not much.
I was going to say that's like when people have kids, they go, I'm part-time. It's like 4 days isn't really part-time, is it? Because you're kind of still doing that 4th day often.
Yeah.
At weekends or other times, aren't you? It
exactly.
Does irritate me, but
yeah.
Okay, so you had a day dedicated to it then.
Yeah.
What, about a year?
Yeah, about maybe less. Yeah, probably less than a year, and it went so well that I ran the numbers and I was like, let me just go for it. This is so scary, but let's just do it, go for it. COVID had kind of cleared up a little bit, disappeared, so it's like, let's go, let's try it. So,
Wow. So then quit your job and at that point, had you put the extra poles in, or?
No, so the poles went in last year, so 2023 in July.
Yeah.
I decided to expand. So another risk really of investment, which was worth it.
Yeah.
But again, I heavily ran the numbers, and it's worked out. So yeah.
Gosh, wow.
Yeah.
How fantastic though. Okay, so what does a normal week look like for you then? How many classes do you run? What's your schedule?
So previously I was working a lot. I was doing like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then training on Sundays.
Of course, 'cause people want weekends, don't they?
Yeah, but since then I have had to cut down my hours through burnout.
Yeah.
So did suffer a little bit with burnout quite badly.
I know you have a little life in you yet. I know you have a lot of strength left. I know you have a little life.
So I
And
now
you're still running it? You've not got any help with someone running it as a
So
business?
I have a lovely team now of people.
Okay, brilliant.
So I have some amazing instructors. We've got some trainees and we've got some qualified instructors in aerial and pole. So at the moment, I think there is about 13 or 14 of us.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, on that note, I mean, how did you know how to rig all of this? I mean, obviously there'll be videos and pictures for people to see, but like, I know you'd gone obviously and done it. Like, how did you know? Because you've put all of this in, haven't you? All of this rigging.
Yeah. So it was an empty shell before.
Yeah. How did you know?
It took a lot of research, a lot of asking people in the industry and contacting the people who supply it and stuff.
And okay, so you did actually go to someone that's done this, because it looks like I wasn't sure if you literally had all this like randomly custom made or something.
So when we first opened, we did it all ourselves. So we bought the pieces, put it together. There was only 6 of us trying to piece together this big trussing system. We laid the floor ourselves both times.
Wow.
So yeah, it really was.
This is a labour of love, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so, I mean, where do we go from here? Because now you've got 13 staff. I'm guessing they're all freelance and stuff, aren't they, or whatever?
Yes,
but,
yeah.
I mean, where do you take this from here?
Yeah, I would love to maybe expand the business at some point.
So, because most of your classes are quite full, are they?
Yeah, so we actually have around 18 students per class.
Yeah.
We generally have 2 instructors per class as well.
Yes, yeah.
We run every day of the week we're open.
Right.
Yeah.
So almost in many ways you're filling all the slots you can fill with this space, really. You're kind of almost at capacity.
Yeah.
So the way to kind of, I guess, expand it is to have more poles and more equipment and have more people into a class, or?
I would never put more students into a class now, but I would love
this is your magic number, is it?
Yeah, I think maybe like an additional room so that we could do more aerial, because primarily pole is the most popular.
Yeah.
And I teach heels as well, so I specifically do mostly heels.
I know, I've watched your work. It's absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
I mean, that is the stuff of dreams.
I just find it so rewarding to watch people grow in confidence and self-esteem and, sort of just own who they are. I think, with gyms and stuff, it can be quite intimidating and people can maybe be judgmental or feel like they're being judged.
Or watched. You just kind of feel like you're being watched a bit, don't you?
Whereas here, I have always said, like, it needs to be welcoming and, just that safe environment for people. That's what pole has been for me. I've, had some really tough times, and every time I've just found a way through it, through pole.
Well, not least because you've got some badass music playing.
Yeah.
So you're kind of losing yourself, aren't you? I mean, like, whenever I exercise, I have to do it to music anyway. So there's that escapism part of it. But then it's like you say, I mean, we all love dance. Who doesn't love dancing?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure there's lots of people that don't like dancing, but who doesn't love? And then so you've got the dance, the music element, and then you're just doing all this crazy stuff with your body.
Yeah, and even to be honest, like if you're maybe I'm feeling sad or just having a really tough day, to come and pole and just do some spin pole and just put on that like really sad, depressing music and just spin around
and
the
feel
pole.
it and
like
and
it's just
through
to
it.
move. It's so nice. So I really like to offer that to everyone.
And do the women, because I'm guessing it's predominantly women.
We have men too.
Yeah. Are they like annoyingly good at it?
It's different in terms of anatomy for sure.
Yes, yeah.
So generally, men will find certain things
Definitely
easier.
probably the arm stuff or
more upper body sort of generally strength stuff.
Yeah.
And then women tend to find the technique stuff a little easier, hip mobility, that sort of thing tends to be a little bit easier.
Well, and women just kind of look nicer do. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Men, like you say, it almost looks like, it feels like it's a work. When I've watched men do it, don't get me wrong, I've watched some beautiful men do it, but it's like you say, there's just a kind of grace, isn't there, to women doing it and the way women's bodies work. That I don't know if that's entirely there with men. I don't know. That's just my own personal.
I mean, I think from what I've experienced, it just takes a bit longer for men to have the mobility side, whereas generally women have that.
Yeah.
I think as well, you know, obviously weight distribution is different between male and female.
Yes. Yeah.
So there's definitely that aspect, I think, is the main thing. But then I've got a really close friend who is male, and he is amazing. Like, he's so strong, he's so bendy. He, you know, trains, he's an elite level athlete. He travels to teach. So, you know, real like inspiration.
So he's amazing to watch then.
Yeah, and he wears heels and he'll dance, we'll dance together, and so, you know, it's nice that it really is for everyone.
Yeah. And so I didn't finish answering. I started with a question and deviated, as I told you I would before we started. Because it does feel like such a safe, positive, powerful space. Do women talk? It feels like women would really kind of open up and just maybe say stuff that they wouldn't maybe say else. I don't know, do you know what I mean? How much of a...
I think so. Like, you know, we all kind of can come sometimes and maybe have like a little bit of a cry if there's something going on outside, like life stresses. And I actually think it's really beautiful because people must feel like this is a safe environment to sort of release that and do that. And we have the support of everybody in the class. So people have been upset, or we've had wins, you know, people have had like a promotion or some good news, and everyone will have like a little group hug. Or, you know, I've got some classes that have come for 6 years now. Sort of before I opened, they were sort of learning from me. And they're just so close with each other, and people have come and gone from that group, but anyone who comes is welcome. And you know, they'll bring donuts after class and they'll sit and eat them.
That's a given.
They'll meet for drinks.
You deserve a donut. I mean, you've just like burnt a load of calories, haven't you? You need that.
Yeah, and they'll plan like little outings if it's like a birthday, or they just want to go out for drinks. So they'll sort of do that outside of the studio, and you know, they've made, like, a lot of people have made really close friends. So it is really nice that people can just be themselves, open up, and, you know, have the support from others, like not just me.
Okay, so the what next question was very much just when the timing's right, just find another space to... Do you think you'll stay here, or do you think you might have to move completely, or...?
I love this area.
It's so convenient off the A1, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's face it, that's so good.
Yeah, we've got lots of parking, so there's so many pros, but I do think we're like, in business there's always more room for growth, and it's always nice to aspire for more. And my personal plan is to be teaching online soon, because I've had some requests from people in other countries. So
do you don't do Zoom at the moment then? Any kind of, I guess.
No.
Yeah, because there must be a real health and safety thing with that, isn't there? Because someone's got to make sure someone's got their own, or do they have to disclaim it and stuff?
It's not too bad in terms of like health and safety, because people will have poles at home.
Yeah, so you just have to check that they've got the right equipment at home.
Yeah, and like verbally screen for injuries and adapt classes as necessary. I wouldn't really teach tricks online personally. I know people do. But for choreo, so routines and stuff, I have been asked, and I did teach for a large online platform recently, which was really fun. So yeah, I'm hoping, because I'm moving house soon, I'm hoping that I can, you know, use my garage as an extra little pole space to teach online.
Is there anything in this field that, when we're talking about expanding, that you could do or might want to do that you're not currently doing?
We've started having commercial dance classes once a month with a friend of mine, Jenna, who owns Dance Fusions.
Okay.
So also in Peterborough. So she comes once. Well, she's actually a student here as well. I'm sure she won't mind me saying. so she teaches once a month now, so that's no poles. We pop the poles up, so we've got like a blank empty studio space.
So you can, these poles do...
Yeah.
Wow.
So we got a system recently that will clip them up to the little grabby thing.
Oh, so they all flick?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So this really is a spare space then?
Yeah. So so to do more of that, and I'm also qualified in Pilates.
Okay.
So to do that or to have other people do that as well would be amazing.
Yeah.
It really goes hand in hand with pole and aerial. The strength is very similar.
Yeah.
And I do teach flexibility with a sort of Pilates-based teaching.
Yeah.
So to do more of that would also be great. I would love that.
Blimey, how are you going to fit all that in though?
I know, I need two of me.
You do. Can people book in? Because I know you're obviously pretty busy, but do you do like private, like groups and stuff? I guess like birthdays, that kind of stuff.
Yes, yeah. So we do like hen parties, birthday parties, and kids parties. So we do the circus for kids.
Of course.
And they absolutely love that. So yeah, we do parties. We do like packages. We, let people come in early and decorate if they want to. They can, bring drink for afterwards, but not during.
Yeah.
And yeah, we just have like a really good fun time.
Oh
and
my God.
Yeah, we offer that.
I'm asking this question, and we're pretty much on the eve of my daughter's 15th birthday. She and her mates, there's about 8 of them, and I've got them coming for a sleepover on Saturday night, and I'm thinking, what am I going to do with them on Sunday? This would have been perfect to have come and done. So, oh my God, well, next year for her 16th, we are here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God, that's going to be the coolest. And I'm not even going to, well, I will include it because it's important for you, but I don't want everyone else to do it. I want it to be, when I include it, then all of the friends will start doing it. I'm like, damn you. Okay, right. God, I could ask so many questions, but I won't. And I'm going to ask you my 3 final questions, if that's all right.
Of course.
I guess the first question is, what life advice, or is there some life advice that you would give your younger self? And it could be any version of your younger self. So like, could be, that younger self that hurt her hip. It could be younger than that, it could be older.
I think mainly just to enjoy what you are doing, So, yeah, just enjoy. So I was always looking for the future, what's next. I think just living in the moment and enjoying and appreciating what you can do and what you have. Particularly in pole as well, as a sport, not only a business, you always want to do the next thing, but actually like look at what you can already do.
Yeah, and celebrate that.
Yeah.
Okay, then the second question is, what advice do you think your older self would give you now? So let's say 65-year-old Ali, looking back at you now, what advice do you think she would say to you now?
To tell me to take a step back a little bit sometimes. I definitely am a bit of a perfectionist. It's something I'm aware of and working on.
Yeah.
And I could definitely learn to have more personal time.
Yeah. But when you're running your own business, and it is just your business, and I know you say you have a team, but it's tricky though, isn't it, to kind of know when to...
Yeah, it is hard because
you've now got a lot of people, like customers, that are expecting this, aren't they, and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
so.
I think as like a slightly anxious person too, I do worry about the future and, the business, of course, like... I need to be able to pay my mortgage. I live on my own. I'm a single person.
Yeah.
So, there's always that worry. And so I think that helps with drive.
Then the final question is always just life advice or a mantra that you live by, just to kind of throw out into the world. Something that you really believe in, or...
I think to just embrace who you are. Everyone is, different, unique in their own ways. We all have strengths and we all have weaknesses. Mm-hmm. Actually, those weaknesses might be strengths. So I think, you know, it's really easy in this day and age to compare ourselves to others, particularly on social media, when actually we need to step back and think, you know, well, what can I do? How can I better myself, you know, to help myself, rather than trying to be like everyone else and trying to be better. Like, again, relating it to pole, I see it a lot with students. Oh, they can do this, but I can't do this. And, you know, well, what can you do that they can't do?
Yeah.
There's always something. And, you know, I try and remind people, look back at where you started, and look where you are now, and see that growth rather than looking at someone else's journey.
Yeah.
It relates to pole as well as life, I think.
Yeah. Well, and there's always a bigger story, isn't there? Because if someone can do something that someone else can't, it might be that they do lots of, I don't know, they do lots of exercise outside of this, the person doesn't. So it's not like the person can't do it.
Yeah.
It's that their life choices are different, you know, like a fitter, someone might be doing weights, or you know what I mean? It's often...
Or, you know, a past injury, a past surgery.
Yeah, that could do... Exactly. So actually, a lot of it is within your control to change. If you want to be like that, then actually, you've got to build up some muscles or that kind of thing, because normally, I bet, like you say, unless it's sort of injury related, anyone can do anything, can't they?
Yeah, it is true. It really is true.
It's just mind over matter, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
And on that note, I'm going to say thank you very much, Ali.
Thanks for
having me. And I'm going to now get my camera out and film this amazing studio, because it's just brilliant.
Yes, love it. No, thank you for having me.
If you would like to hear more about this chat, see some pics and read about how to get started in this industry and or this role, then please go to our website, www.thiswomanswork.org. The link is on this podcast page and across our socials. Sincere thanks.